Hello everyone, this is Amber with Staying Crafty. Today I will be doing a holiday themed card. I'm using some repositionable adhesive on the back side of the front portion of my card base because when I'm stamping I don't like my card to shift around. I'm using this stamp set. I'm using some creamy caramel ink from Stampin' Up! And I'm going to be using this stamp multiple times to cover a good portion of the card front. So I'm starting out at the top, lining it up and stamping down. And these stamp really nice and cleanly. They're the photopolymer, so they're not like the cheapy ones that you can get at the local craft stores. So they work really well with the Stampin' Up! Classic inks. So I'm stamping this a total of 4 times, and yes, you saw me throw my stamp and knock the camcorder everywhere. There's the 4th time there. And now I'm moving on to this stamp set. Same company as the first set, just a different stamp set. And this is Taken with Teal ink. This is also a Stampin' Up! Ink. And I'm going to be stamping my sentiment with that. And it says Season's Greetings. From this distance, you can't really see it, but you'll definitely see it in the final photo of the finished card. So I'm just stamping that down in the lower left-hand corner. Now I have some of these adhesive-backed pearls from Stampin' Up! And they're really nice and convenient because you don't have to mess with trying to get small daubs of glue behind them. So I'm just putting one on each side of the sentiment. Now I'm going to be using my ATG gun to adhere some ribbon, and I'm just laying it over the ATG tape, then smoothing it down, making sure it's straight before I press too hard. Then I'm going to flip my card over, and now working on the inside of the card, I'm going to make another line of ATG tape, pull that over so that I've got the edge on the same side. Here I'm just touching up a spot that I didn't get very much adhesive, and it's also the edge, so I want to be careful there. Then I'm just trimming off the excess. That leaves a nice finish inside and out. So I have a 3¼ inch circle with some die cuts with a view paper, and I'm going to be adhering that to the front of my card, kind of trying to get it centered in the top area where the script background is stamped. Just going to smooth that down. Now I've got this cup and saucer cut at 3½ inches from the Winter Frolic Cricut cartridge. I am going to be inking all around the edges in the Taken with Teal ink just to give it some added dimension, especially because I used the same pattern for both layers, which I did do intentionally, but the inking will help the cup layer stand out from the saucer a little bit. It's a subtle effect, but it does make a difference. And there's another layer that I could have cut to this that includes a little star, but I chose not to use that in this case. Now I took the top of an ice cream sundae from my kitchen cartridge, and that was at 4 inches. And the reason that seems like such a big size is because the whole ice cream sundae would have been 4 inches, not just this part. And I welded a shape to it just to make it easier to adhere. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. In that case, you would probably adhere the back of the ice cream sundae top instead of the front like I did. Now here I'm going to be using some foam tape. I can't remember who makes it. I think it's Scotch, but I'm not really sure. The reason I'm using foam tape is mainly because I did want a little bit of depth, but I did not want something as thick as a pop dot. So I used this instead. It also works really well to trim little tiny pieces like I did for the handle, and that's going to give me just the amount of depth I want. And now I'm going to adhere my cup and saucer to the center of the circle that I placed on my card. I used my ATG first, and then I'm going to go back with some Scotch Quick Dry for the smaller sections. Now, the Scotch Quick Dry is one of my absolute favorite adhesives. The tip is pretty narrow, so you can get in some more detailed areas. It does dry clear, and it just works really well. It adheres a lot of different things. So it's a really good one to try if you haven't already. Now I am using the Taken with Teal color again, basically only using 2 colors of ink on this card, and I'm just doing some faux stitching all around my circle. And I won't show you the whole thing, but you pretty much get the idea. Now I'm taking my corner jumper on the 1/2 inch setting, and I don't know why on earth I was doing the card front by itself, because this will punch through both layers. I wasn't thinking about it, I guess, so that was my duh moment for this card. I've got some Die Cuts with a View glitter paper and a Martha Stewart Arctic Snowflake punch. Let me just punch that out there. And I started out with the tweezers, but I realized that the snowflake was kind of brittle in the glitter paper, and it was sort of bending my snowflakes, so I decided to just use my hands instead. And I actually did have a little bit of it break when I was adhering it down, but I was able to just take the broken piece and adhere it back into place. You can see that little broken piece there. I know it's hard to see, but that's what I'm currently fiddling with in the video. So I'm just going to put that right there, exactly where it goes. And honestly, you really can't tell once I put it back down that it had ever broken, so I got lucky there. Just pressing it down to make sure no other parts can break or come off. So now I've got this liquid applique. I ordered mine from Joann's.com. I don't know what section they carry it in, if they have it locally, I have no idea, but it's very inexpensive. I think it was like $2.50 or something. So if you're ordering some other things, that's an easy thing to add to your order, and it's a lot of fun to play with. So I'm just making some swirled designs. This is going to be like my whipped cream coming out of the top of my cup. So I let this dry overnight, and then I come back in the morning to heat emboss it. So I tried to get this to where you could see it. It's really cool the way it puffs up, but I don't know. It doesn't show up quite as well on camera. You can see that it's not shiny anymore, but it really looks like foam. Very much the effect of whipped cream that I wanted. It's hard to get it just right on video. You can kind of see it there a little bit from the side. So now I'm using a My Pink Stamper stamp. This is from Everyday Occasions, which was one of her very first stamp sets. And it just says handcrafted by. So I've used that. And now I'm going to take my marker again, and I'm going to sign it and put the year. And this is kind of a fun thing to do when you're sending cards, because then people will know that you did make it. So here you can see the finished card, and I think that my whipped cream foam shows up a little better in the finished photo than it did on the video portion. So thank you so very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and very crafty day.